Yo, what is up, guys? Here with another deck profile for you guys. Just gonna show off the list I took to locals this weekend. The list did, honestly, it did fine. I would say that I didn't have as many maybe high tier competitive matches as I wanted to, and a lot of the matches I had, either I just kind of blew them out going first, or there's a lot of bricks, like my opponent just bricking, and then. Match one and match two, I was feeling a little off. I feeling not rusty, just feeling out of my groove, not maybe somewhat stressed or so. So those matches are gonna be tough for me to have to watch back. But I did okay. I went X1 today. 4 legitimate rounds, and then I played 5 unofficial matches, or five matches total. I played one additional match at the end of the day, and so I still count that as something as I'm tracking. So technically, I went 4-1 for the day, I guess. So it's not bad, but yeah, I definitely think I could have cleaned house again today. The list performed pretty well, but I'm just refining. I feel like last week I was really happy with the list I brought, and that's basically the list I think I'm gonna be going for the regional. And at this point, it's just refinement and trying out other cards that I'm not sure if I like or not. So I'll try to be a little quicker with the profile today. But yeah, let's get into it. So today I played a 44 card list. I'll tell you right now, this list was supposed to be 42, but I added 2 cards last second that I'll show you guys when I get there. But yeah, first let's just hit up the Atlanteans. Played 3 prints, super standard. We don't need to talk about that card. I played 2 infantry today, so I've been trying out 2 infantry lately, and I've been doing some test games with it. Doing test games against, I did actually play against Malice a little bit, and that was fun. Unofficial, not recorded from locals, but I did get some practicing against that and practicing against Yugioh. 2 infantry is it's interesting. You definitely open it a lot more, which is awesome. Actually, the infantry pop is super relevant. Just having multiple pops. You can always take out there's a lot of field spells and a lot of back row stuff you can hit with it, face up continuous stuff. And then just hindering some lingering monsters is nice. So yeah, infantry was cool. Having 2 of it was cool. I did notice that there were matches today where I was siding out 1 copy, even when going second, because I had so much non-engine that was strong against whatever matchup I played against. So for example, Voiceless Voice, I looked at this card as something that maybe wasn't super good into Voiceless because you can't target any of their stuff to blow it up. And then I had so much good non-engine, in the side deck and in the main deck that I would side out. I noticed the 3, basically my second infantry took the slot of my main deck minstrel, where no longer am I I was no longer cutting the main deck minstrel from my main when going second and having 0. I was keeping the 1 in, and this was basically the card getting sent out. So it'd be this, Callby, and Mulan as my 3 cards of engine that I would side out, and I wouldn't side out any more than that. But yeah, 2 infantry was cool. I don't think it's super mandatory, but I think I want to try out for 1 more week and see how it goes. Because I think having a very engine-heavy waterless will be nice. Honestly, the best I did today was when I opened 0 non-engine and just opened all engine. I went to get in my last match. Well, I actually don't want to. I wouldn't say it's a spoil. My last match, unofficial match, I playing against a Voiceless board. Game 3, I let him go first. When it's my choice, true. But I let him go first, and he builds what looked like to be the full pure Voiceless board. He opened there was one part of his engine he couldn't do, but out of Voiceless cards he had everything you could possibly have in a pure variant, and I blew through it with engine alone. And so honestly, the more I play this deck, the more I feel like I just need to play engine cards. I don't even need non-engine. Hard to say with a harder matchup like Yugioh, but yeah, this deck's engine goes, honestly, it's shocking me how well this deck can play through cards. But yeah, we'll continue on. 3 shrines. Obviously, it's still DeepseaKing Turbo. 3 shrines is huge. I love to open it. When I open shrine, I feel like a free man. And then 3 dragoons. Pretty standard. No need to talk about that. So yeah, that's it for the Atlanteans. In terms of this count, I plan on playing the same thing next week. Now into Mermails. 3 Teus and 1 Megalo for the 7s. Teus, huge. Megalo, huge. These cards perform so well. Playing Gund and playing Triana with the Megalo and the Teus, it's insane. Yeah, I the chain blocking is so huge, and just in you opening your hands of like full water, and then it's amazing. Yeah, I'm really enjoying Megalo in Teus right now. So moving on, we have 3 pikes because we're playing the Deepsea build. Yeah, there were definitely some hands where I opened multiple normal summons, and that does kind of suck. But it's the variance of the DeepseaKing combo, I guess, that you might open multiple fishes, and that's also another reason why I kind of do want to play, above 40 at a higher deck count, because I want to try and, have these cards a little further away from each other. I don't mind too much about opening multiple Pike and Princes, especially if you can get like Megalo in the mix, you can get a Triana and keep pushing in certain ways. So I think it's fine. I'm not too, I haven't been too worried about playing the triple Pike yet. It hasn't like really affected me to the point where I'm like, oh, I can't do this. Like I can't play these cards anymore. Like it has not gotten that bad. So 3 squad as the other Mermail, self-explanatory, and then Gund as the last Mermail. Still like it. There were a couple times I opened the Gund. Yeah, it's not great. Rather search it, but really, it's just if you hard open the Gund, then it just means all of your Mermail searches become bait. Because typically, like my first search would be like Shrine. It'd be like Shrine off of Prince. Squad off of Dragoons, and then like Gund off of like the Teus or Pike. So typically, I was always getting to all of my level 3 waters. So yeah, I mean Gund did great. So we still like Gund. The Mermail Atlantean cards themselves. This feels pretty good for me. I definitely don't think I want to change that at all. For the regional. Next for the one of waters, I played the Moon for the hand rip. DeepseaKing because he's DeepseaKing. I played Ice Jade Ran today, so this was the 43rd card. I had this in the last minute because I'm thinking, I just need to know if I like this card or not. Like if I use it when I see it, how does it feel? Yeah, I'm gonna cut it. I just don't think. I think it's not even that it's a bad card. I really at all. That's not what it is. It's or like I feel like it's a bad card. It's strictly just the fact that it's not a Mermail Atlantean, so it doesn't mix super well with Shrine, which is what I am kind of like basing my whole deck around. And with that, Shrine is all based around getting the DeepseaKing. And so with DeepseaKing being the main target from Shrine, it just the Ran just never came up today. And even the games where I thought maybe it could come up, I couldn't see the full line. Maybe just because I'm not used to playing with it. That's probably just what it is. And maybe I should try it again. I think I just want to cut it because I think when the way I played the deck last week, of just focus on DeepseaKing, and the way I started playing this deck this week, when I stopped thinking about Ran, it just feels like I feel like I see the line. I feel like the DeepseaKing is, and the way that like the last week's deck played, and the way the DeepseaKing list that I currently have plays with me, I just feel like I am very comfortable, and all my order of operations feels very smooth to me, and I feel like I can see, I can see 5 interruptions down the line what my end board's gonna look like, or what lethal might look like. So every time I would start thinking about, oh, maybe I should add this off of Shrine instead of summoning DeepseaKing, I just felt like I would lose the line. I would lose how I'm going to beat my opponent, or how I'm going to get through all the eruptions. And so that's literally just me. It's just personal. I don't know if I'm going to try him again, because it is a good card. I'm not denying that. And what sucks too, I opened it one time today, and my opponent scooped before I can even play. So I don't know how I feel about Ran. It's weird. I also thought it was also thinking about his detonator, especially I was thinking like, oh wow, it's a super free into detonator because you can special it, and then you can't make Chending, but I was thinking you special it and then make Gamir shotgun that because they can't do anything, they can't respond to it in time, and then Gamir can protect you from from detonator, but that doesn't really work because they have the field spell, and then they can also go if you were to chain Gamir to detonator, they can just chain detonator to Gamir. So I don't know. That's a whole different story for Gamir when we get to that. But yeah, Ram was weird. I don't know if I'll play it again or not. One minstrel's in the main's fine. I'm still no issues with that. Yeah, you want to open it, but you also kind of don't want to open it. When I see minstrel, it's great, but the fact that I never see multiples is even greater. That's kind of how I see it. And so Deepsea Diva. I didn't play Diva as much today. But Diva also was never an issue for me today. It was never a brick. It was never oh no, I opened too many normal summons. I never had that issue today, so I still think Diva's fine currently. So I didn't really play today, but it also didn't hurt me today. So that's how I see it. And then Shift as the water target. Yeah, I mean, Shift puts in work for sure. Probably I don't know, it's hard to say. Like I said, guys, my games are kind of weird today. There wasn't a whole lot of, I didn't do a whole lot of playing actually, or it'd be like turn one full combo, they scoop, or it'd be they just don't open very well and I just win. And it wasn't super interactive and back and forth, and so I felt like Shift did not get to shine as much as it did last weekend. But I mean, so far I'm still liking it. So no real issues there. And then just Triana 1-for-1 as the last spells for the engine of the deck. No issues here. No additions needed. I'm happy with these two. Next, into non-engine. So we have it's 14 non-engine, by the way. We have 3 Perulia, and then as my 44th card, I have 1 Fluros. I picked up a Fluros today, unexpectedly, because I was given a good enough deal on it. So I'm like, yeah, let's pick up the 1 for the crossed out target. Never saw it today. I saw Perulia a couple times today, and it would get ashed. And yeah, I don't know. But you know what? Opening Perulias when you go first, I opened 2 Perulias today, and it was like double Perulia, double Teus, and then like another water. And I was like, yeah, that's great. I don't mind opening Perulia because it's literally just water bait, and then it's like Bahamut in your worst case. And then I never saw the win one today. Also never had a chance to cross out the Fluos. So, it's just here as a 4th maxi. It just ups the variance of you opening a maxi when you're on second. And maybe I don't main deck it. Maybe I just side deck it, but currently I'm leaning towards main. And then we just have 3 Ash. 3 Ash is Ash. Although I will get to say one thing in a second here after I finish this. 1 call by, 3 Imperm, and 3 Impulse. So I guess real quick backing up with the non-engine. So just laying these out for you guys. So my thoughts with the deck currently are I really do feel like the engine just pushes by itself. And we don't really need a whole lot of non-engine in the deck. And so going into today, this was all the non-engine that I thought was warranted a slot in the deck for all the problems that are currently available to us. Like I think I just have to main Call by the Grave for all. So just to further guarantee and help that I win going first. That any crazy turn 1 drolls or turn 1 shifters, that this just up my odds of playing through those unfortunate events. As well as Charmies too, and so then getting into Ashes as well. Ashes kind of feel like they have to be here so I can Ash the Charmies for sure. And so I feel like these cards, like regardless of what Ash actually stops from an opponent, yes, it's a good interaction point, but literally I would think on a regional basis, just hitting all the Charmies all day will be really important. So these 4 non-engine feel like they are somewhat mandatory in the deck. And then I guess also the Charmies as well. I feel like the mind games and the pressure that the Charmies put on your opponent are just too strong not to main deck. And then yes, while Perulia might have not as many good matchups as Fluros does, Perulia takes a dump on all the rogue decks. All the rogue decks are getting hit by Perulia. And then just Perulia being a level 4 water, it's like it literally has very honestly 0 disadvantages being in the main deck. So there's only a couple matchups where you get literally 0 draws out the Perulia. And, in the worst case, it just replaces itself and then still adds that weird mental mind game to your opponent where, oh man, am I getting a special from hand or normal again or whatever. And then Fluos, it's just the most broken one because it hits the crazier decks. It hits a different type of rogue decks. And it's just a blowout, and it's just a mental mind game. So like at least these 8 feel necessary, and then I would think even Imperm feels necessary just based on the fact how it deals with Caesar King. It deals with Detonator, deals with Duo Drive, rogue stuff, Chaos Angel. Imperm I think just has to be here. And then Imperm, and then as the last hand trap I'm maining, I was kind of thinking between Impulses and maybe Nibiru's. But I don't even like Nibiru that much. I'm sure it's good, but I think I don't love Nibiru's. And what I play instead of Nibiru's are Lightning Storm and Harpy. And I want those Lightning Storms to be live. And I noticed that the times where I want to put in the Lightning Storms and Harpy are the same times I want to put in Nib. And I just feel like Impulse still has it still has interactions being able to stop plugin versus Ryziel has got to be relevant. I haven't had that interaction come up yet, but there's no way that's bad. I mean, if I opened this, yeah, I technically could also hit the ice if I really wanted to. Probably not doing that, but I don't know if you have a trap and grave already, and then they ice and you negate and destroy it. That's kind of crazy. So I don't know. And then like Impulse into the card, it just goes crazy on the rogue decks, and I just feel like off of that alone, and just how it's a trap card, so it's hard to interact with. Like these hand traps are super hard to interact with. You know, like Ash just hits all the bombs and is good protection versus the Charmies. You can't hit call by, like in terms of like tactics or thrust. All the hand traps just completely play around that. And yeah, the Charmies hit, but you're at least missing talents, and you're just getting hit by thrust. And even if you do, like, you're still stopping them from playing, or you're slowing down their play. And in a regional, they're not gonna know what I'm playing either. If this is like game one, because that's what I'm kind of basing this off of. Like these hand traps, I feel like these hand traps are just great for game one, especially for a regional event where you're gonna be playing all kinds of decks, Rogue included. And I want a card that's good against Malice as well. Yeah, I definitely had no issues. Honestly, every time I saw Impulse, I was happy. Impulse just goes so hard. So this hand trap lineup felt pretty good. Although I will say I did not play against Ryziel today at the tourney, so maybe I am missing out. And then we'll get into the extra deck. But yeah, I guess last thoughts is 44 here. It's definitely, like, we're definitely looking at 43 with Cut the Ran. And I think other than that, you know, technically Diva and Infantry, whatever that card may be, Infantry. So these are kind of like the three cards that, you know, are not like cemented into the deck yet, at least in the main deck. Whether all these stay or 1 to 2, I don't know yet. But these are the only cards I'm looking at, as I don't know if I want you here or not. But I'm leaning towards these two stay, and this one maybe leaves. But then it's like I said, guys, it's hard to say. If I go back and look at my matches and like my hands were fine, maybe this list actually does just stay. I don't think the deck lost me today. I think my technical play was just off today. I think the deck was probably fine. But yeah, I guess I might think different when I go back and watch the matches. So I'm not too sure yet. But that is the main deck. Next, on to the extra deck. This is where I definitely felt like, this is probably where I felt like the deck was lacking, if anywhere. Like, honestly, thinking back on my matches today, my main deck was never the problem. I think my only problem was just that my extra deck couldn't, like, my main deck didn't have the extra deck to, like, fully amplify it. And I guess we'll get into that. So, for links, I played 1 King, 1 Lacia, 1 Coral, and 1 Abyss Keeper. So I cut the second Coral. I did not cut the second Coral for the Abyss Keeper. I cut the Zealantis for the Abyss Keeper, and I was going to play 2 Coral, and then 1 less card in my extra deck that we'll get to in a second. But so I can say that Abyss Keeper never came up today. At least summoning DeepseaKing, but the other effect that I did think would come up today actually did. So just being able to not unsummon, but just being able to summon Abyss Keeper and then banish one of your fishes, especially if you resolve DeepseaKing, to have all the bodies on board. Just being able to have Abyss Keeper to banish cards is it's super nice. It's just another form of like spot removal, and yeah, you can't get rid of it, but it's still, you know, it's still 1500. It's whatever. It's literally just a body to remove something. That's all it is. It's just like utility. It's just like it was fine. It was fine in that sense. So, you know, and then onto the Coral. Obviously these two are standard. So we don't need to talk about those. We'll talk about Coral. Coral, the second one, I think it may, well, I really probably should have, it's hard to say. Maybe one time the second Coral came up in my first match, but I'm not positive, and I'll need to go back to check. So maybe the second Coral, but it definitely was not at, I didn't miss it as much as I thought I would. It feels scary to play 1 Coral. Honestly, it just feels scary to play 1. It feels like I'm risking a game that I will lose, and that's probably the truth. Like with the extra deck, I think it's time to accept that, like, you know, if I play 2 Coral, so I don't lose there, I'll lose to not having a Abyss Keeper. And then the other card that's not here is Zealantis. Zealantis, I think, actually would have come up in my first match today, and it would have got me the win. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure. And So now I feel like I do need to put Zealantis back in. I think that is probably the right call. It's like, yeah, it's never going to come up, but man, it felt bad that it came up that 1 in 20th time. So I think the perfect world, you play Zealantis, King, Alacia, 2 Corals, and Abyss Keeper. But I don't think I can fit that. I don't think that's going to work. On to the rest of the extra deck. For the Xyz, I play 1 Poseidra, 1 Gaios. These cards are cracked. Love these cards. My gosh. I won. This card is Poseidra. I already knew it was my favorite card when I saw the reveal for all the new water cards. I already knew that Poseidra was the craziest one. The one I was gonna like enjoy the most. But oh my god, the more I play this deck and the better I get at it, Poseidra just feels that much more broken. And I noticed that like this week I've used his revival effect a lot more, and because of that, because I did use Poseidra's effect more this weekend, I kind of want to fit Leviature Dragon back in the extra deck, the rank 3 that recycles water, because that's another card that technically did come up in my first match. I'm not sure if that came up because I didn't have Zealantis, or if they both came up and I just was missing both of them. Again, I'm gonna have to go back and check. But yeah, potentially I need to test out Leviature Dragon one more time. And if I do play Leviature Dragon, that probably also means I'll probably test the Thrust package maybe, and maybe put the trap in the side deck. Definitely the side deck. It would not be in the main. Continuing on, for rank 4s, we have 2 Kraken, double Bahamut, double Toad. Double Bahamut, double Toad is standard. Kraken did not. If I don't get shifted, this card doesn't come up. And if it does, it's super rare. Only in like very awkward game states will this really come up. If you're not getting shifted. And so that leaves me in a weird spot with it, honestly. I don't know what I want it to be. Like the Kraken would technically. Well, I guess we'll just get through the rest of my extra deck real quick. So for Synchros, I played Ymir, and I played Chenning today. I didn't know if I wanted to cut the Chenning for the Ymir, and so the card I cut my second Coral for was Ymir. So I wanted to try out that, but I didn't feel like I wanted to cut this just in case. And so I just rocked them both and just wanted to see if either of them would come up. The Ymir never came up. The Chenning also never came up, although it was an option sometimes. And the times it was an option, the Chenning was probably better than the Ymir. But I think a level 10 Synchro only came up once today, so it's still super hard to say. I wouldn't hate going one more locals and then actually just cutting this and playing Ymir just to see if the Ymir comes up when it's my only level 10 option. How do I feel about that? And then I played Ashcan and Porpoise. Another card that technically came up today was Deep Beyond, where I would on my turn I made Porpoise, I made Ashcan, and then I still have a level 2 tuner on my field, but I obviously don't have a level 10 fish to synchro into. So technically Deep Beyond came in today, but it was a one-time thing, and I'm pretty sure I won that game anyways. Although again, I guess I can't remember. I'll have to go back and check. Actually, no, maybe I didn't. No, I think I maybe was missing the Deep Beyond. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll test out Deep Beyond too. It just seems super extra. And I played this. It wasn't on it was like I went second into a board and I made Ashcan to clear their board. I had the level 2 tuner still on board. So when I go second, I guess now that I'm thinking about it, it's not horrible. So what had happened today is, and this happened a couple times where I go Porpoise, like going second. Porpoise into Ashcan on turn 2 into my opponent's board, and then I will banish the shift from my grave to summon back to Ashcan. And there was a time, and technically there could be multiple times, where I don't need or want to get it off the field. Like there's no value in getting off the field after that. And if I break through their board, I still have the shift for their turn as another interruption piece, as like a last ditch effort. Like, okay, I'll just dark hold the board. Maybe that is an option, just off the thought that these cards come up so much when I'm going second, that maybe the Deep Beyond is worth it. And then yeah. So getting extra deck. These are staying. These two. It's one of these two. This card feels weird. These cards are goated, and all of these cards are necessary. So I'm basically looking at these 3 cards as. So here's the tough part. One of these cards have to stay. Unless you just cut both of them, play Deep Beyond. So you could cut both these, play Deep Beyond, and then you could play Leviature Dragon instead of the Kraken, and do like the whole Virtue Stream thing versus Shifter. But then if I do that, I don't have a Shifter protection game 1, which would suck. At least with the Kraken I do. So even in that sense, maybe Kraken just has to be played. Unless there's another rank 4 I want to be playing. I don't think there is. I think Kraken probably is the best one. And if it's not Kraken, then maybe there's a synchro we want to play. I don't know. I'll need to go and check, because you can't play Dragite, because with Dragite you need to water the graveyard to resolve the effect. But yeah, these are the kind of the cards I'm looking at that I don't know if will stay here. And Zealantis needs to come in, maybe Deep Beyond, and maybe Leviature Dragon. I might be testing them. I should be testing a mixture of those next weekend. But yeah, that's it for the extra deck. And then the side deck. This side deck felt fine, actually. 3 Lancia for when it came up. It technically did. I stopped the Virtual Beast player from playing. That was cool. And then I have a Nib, Shifter, and Droll for crossout targets for my crossout. And now Fluoross in the main deck, which is awesome. And then I played 3 Droplet and 2 Lightning Storm Harpy. So my Virtual Beast players, my Virtual Beast player plays Dimensional Fissure, and because of that, I feel like I just have to play this. I also feel like these cards are crazy into so many road matchups. The back row is where all the scary stuff is at, and I think we need this, and because we need these, I don't want to play more Nibs. And then in regards to Droplet, there is one other card I'm interested in, instead of playing Droplet, maybe playing XC Encore. That's maybe like the best card I think we should be playing, because it's just because it costs the least amount of cards to play. You know, a Droplet, but then Droplet has more utility, and I do like that too. So maybe the Droplets have to stay. Droplets honestly feel fine, especially if you tie the Droplet with like a Charmy. So say like you draw on once or twice, and then you have those extra cards to dish with the Droplet. And if you're drawing a couple cards, you should have a mixture of like a Pike and a discard, or like a Diva. And if you have that, then your send off the Droplet, it just becomes a lot more free. You can get more cards, especially if you're timing it with like an Imperm or Lightning Storm Harpy. Like all that feels really cool too. So I think the Droplets are fine. And if I get 3 Encores, I'll probably try it out. But Droplets are I'm definitely happy with those. Yeah, and so 3 crossouts. But you just have to play it, and you just have to respect every hand trap. You have to respect, even though we're always hitting the nib. You know, sometimes you're not. Sometimes your hand isn't that good, and crossout just supports that. And so if you're not noticing, I cut Minstrel from the side deck. I had it as copies 1. Really, I don't think that's super necessary. It's just like crossout does the same thing that Minstrel does. Especially now that I have and Minstrel it does hard miss into Shifter and the Charmies, so you're not hitting like the really cool cards. And I'd rather just consistently open like engine that fully extends, where Minstrel does not fully extend. It's like the card that you dish from Minstrel has to be good, or you have to have playable. Where if you like, I'd rather just open in place of playing a Minstrel, you're just playing one less card, and you're more likely to open a card like even like Diva. Like I'd rather open Diva than open Minstrel more consistently. So I think the crossouts are just fine. You're searching the Minstrel anyway, so like you're already hitting the hard hand traps. And if you get Drolled, you should be playing around Droll anyways. So I don't know. And if you're getting hit by multiple, I mean, this is not your game. It's just not your game. Yeah, and Lancias, I feel like I just have to respect it. Respect Shifter decks. It's just like it turned ender. And I feel like that's crazy. And I am afraid of Malice because I've only played against it once. It went really well. I opened full engine and just cracked it. But I probably should just respect the fact that I can literally just end people's turns with this card. And especially if you're getting Shifter, you want to give your opponent as least amount of advantages as possible. So like, because even though our turn's not going to be that great either, just being able to have them make a half board, at least it will slow the game down. Like this will just slow the game down, so your deck and their deck can operate on the same speed. Because once an opponent plays a card like Shifter, you're instantly playing at an incredibly slow speed compared to your opponent. And so I feel like Lancey just controls the tempo of the game and puts it back in your favor. So yeah, I mean the side deck felt fine. I don't even know what I would cut from it to fit the Virtue Stream. My first thoughts would probably be like one of the droplets, or like one of the Lancias, or I don't know. You could even cut Nib and just not play it. But I mean, there are some matchups where like it's nice to have a single copy of Nib because your Charmies will draw into it, so that makes it more of a bomb than the Droll is. If anything, Droll probably just cut the Droll. If I was with the Virtue Stream in the side deck. But yeah, so the deck performed fine. I think I was just off, and it was not very strong technical play. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the list. The matches weren't actually bad. It just went X1, and I feel like I should have gone undefeated. Like I feel like this deck I still feel like this is the strongest deck in the room, and I think I just flunked it. So yeah, with just that first match, and that was the only one. But I want to see. It's like I know I can be winning with this deck, and it's just me like falling behind. Because water is so strong right now. It's amazing. And the fact that we're getting some more crazy support is also awesome. I guess last thing I will say is I did find in the Discord a really, really interesting and cool Lancia build. I don't think I'll be testing that out before the regional, but if I have any chances to just get any more water footage other than locals, I probably will try the Lancia build. It's really cool. I recommend you guys check out the Discord. I'll post a link in this video. Yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot more people smarter than me playing this deck in the Discord. I see some awesome lists, and everyone, and like the guys who talk in there are super chill and super passionate. So yeah, check out the Discord. And yeah, we'll just get into the matches the rest of the week, and we'll go over how the day went. All right, guys. Thanks and peace.